Black Nun. This story is from 1989. 3 girls in England, Cheryl, Agnes, and Diana, used to live together on a PG basis. All 3 used to work in different places, and slowly the friendship of the 3 became very deep.
Agnes, what kind of boy do you want to marry? I'll marry a rich boy so that I can be in comfort my whole life. Oh my! And Cheryl, you? I'm very happy with my bank's work. Money is not everything. He should be a good life partner. I think both partners should have jobs and run the home together. That's my wish. You and your bank job. I just want such a husband who's a slave to his wife.
A few days later, it is Cheryl's birthday. Agnes and Diana made a plan to throw a surprise birthday party together. They had decorated the room before Cheryl had arrived that evening.
But Agnes has her birthday at midnight. She will come before from the office, and our surprise will be spoiled. Oh yes, I hadn't thought of that. You do one thing. I will decorate the room, and you take her out of the office to roam somewhere and bring her back till midnight. Wow, that idea sounds fine. I will take her with me to watch a movie.
And Diana arrives at Cheryl's bank before her work is over for the day.
Hey Diana, what are you doing here? I thought I would take you to see a movie after this boring work. Want to come? Oh, well, that invite sure is a surprise. And where's Agnes? I don't know where she's at today, but both of us can go and watch a movie.
And thus, Diana makes an excuse to her friend's boss, and she takes her friend Cheryl to the movie. All the while, Agnes is preparing a surprise birthday party for her. Both are returning home after watching a movie late that evening.
The movie was very good, Diana. Thank you. No problem, my friend. You do all that boring work at the bank. You deserve some entertainment.
While walking home from the movie and chatting along the way, suddenly a woman appeared in front of them. She was very ugly, and she wore the clothes of a nun. She walked as if floating on air. Cheryl and Agnes were shocked at this mysterious woman that suddenly appeared in front of them.
Who are you?
Diana stands behind Cheryl. She doesn't want to approach further due to the fear.
Have you seen my brother Peter?
Peter? Who's he? I don't know any Peter.
You work at Bank of England, don't you?
Yes.
And yet you don't know Peter? He's my brother. Where is he?
Come on, Cheryl. Let's go. Don't answer her. I think she's crazy. Let's leave.
You know my brother Peter. He used to work in the Bank of England, too.
I don't know. I have no idea who he is.
You don't know then?
And the nun starts walking forward, screaming, and clutches Cheryl's neck. Suddenly her eyes turn deep red, and instead of tears, blood streams from her eyes. Suddenly her nails grow longer and sharper, holding Cheryl by the neck as she begins to fly up in the air, and she starts laughing loudly. Diana turns away after watching this nightmare unfold before her.
Leave, my friend. Leave.
The woman takes Cheryl to a very high place and drops her from that immense height. Cheryl's head collides with the ground and immediately cracks open upon impact, and she begins bleeding out. And that mysterious woman disappears in the wind. Diana runs towards her dear friend, trying to help, but by then she has lost too much blood. Through tears, Diana pleads to her deceased friend.
Cheryl, come on. Wake up. Today's your birthday. See? Agnes made a surprise plan for you. Get up now.
In a while, a crowd gathers. The police car and the ambulance also come there. They pick up Cheryl's body. Diana is crying and giving a statement at the police station. Then Agnes arrives there.
Agnes, our Cheryl is gone. She left us on her birthday. That woman killed Cheryl.
Which woman? Who was she? Please tell us in detail and help us to sketch her. Diana dictates all the reports while weeping continuously. When the sketch arrives, everyone sees that the woman looks like a black nun. Look, ma'am. Don't cry. We are very sorry for your friend's death. Her case is not normal. We will do a full inquiry on her behalf, but I feel this is the case of the black nun. We can catch a living person, but what about the dead?
Black nun? Dead person? What are you saying? I don't understand.
Oh, Dr. Robert will be able to explain it all to you better than I could. Please go to him. Here is his address.
Who is he?
He is a paranormal activity expert and is currently researching the Black Nun.
What are paranormal activists?
These are the experts who research demonic forces and things that normal people cannot control. Both Diana and Agnes come to meet Dr. Robert the next day by making an appointment in advance. They see that his room is very bright, and strange machinery was set up. There is also a pentagram in the corner, and the doctor was sitting beside it. Welcome, Diana and Agnes. How are you?
Do you know us?
Yes, the inspector told me all about you. I will also research Cheryl's case. Have you brought the photo?
Yes.
Robert puts her photo in the middle of the pentagram, and he keeps watching it carefully. Robert starts mumbling quiet to himself. My suspicion was right. This is the work of the Black Nun, and I'm so very sorry your friend fell prey to her. Now, nothing can be done.
But why? Who? Or what?
Punishment can be given to those who are normal human beings, but the Black Nun is a spirit. Many years ago, in a village, two siblings, Sarah Whitefield and Peter, used to live happily. Peter found a good job in the city of the Bank of England. Sarah, I got a new job, and now I have to go to the city. But don't worry about me. I will keep sending you money, and I will also keep coming to visit you. Peter comes to town and starts his new job at the bank. Initially, he works honestly, but slowly, he gets addicted to earning quick money and starts betting the bank's money. I will become a very rich man one day. But the matter of Peter's fraud reaches the top of the management team, and he is handed over to the police. The case goes on for many days, and British law sentences him to death. And Peter is killed. All the while, Sarah Whitefield was unaware of Peter's whereabouts for months. She finally takes a trip to the city and goes to the bank to find her brother.
Where is my brother, Peter?
We don't know. The bank staff hides the truth from Sarah for many days, but she is very persistent and shows up there every day to look for her brother.
Where is my brother?
We do not know. He has not come in for a long time. Sarah senses something is suspicious, and she comes to the bank every day to inquire about Peter. One day, the bankers get tired of her and tell her the truth. Hearing that, Sarah's heart breaks completely. Seeing the horrible emotional state that Sarah was in, the bank people announced to give her a pension on the condition that she would not come to the bank again. After some days, Sarah dies, and she's buried in the backyard of the bank. But suddenly, after some days, people in the bank saw Sarah. And again, she starts asking of her brother's whereabouts.
Have you seen my brother, Peter?
No. And Sarah converts into a black nun. Whoever answers her questions, she kills them in anger by smashing their head on the ground. The same thing happened to your friend, Cheryl. She has been a victim of the anger of the Black Nun.
But our friend was killed unnecessarily. How was it her fault?
I can understand your grief. God bless her soul. And a few days later, on the same path, the Black Nun again kills another person, and she continues to be the cause of fear in the city, even today. The end. Ghost Under the Bed. This story is from the 1980s. A dad named Alex works his job just outside his hometown, London. He's looking for a house for rent for his wife Daisy and their 15-year-old daughter Lucy. He hears of a house they can afford to rent, and he takes Daisy and Lucy to that home to show them. Daisy, this house is good for you and for Lucy. There's security here, and it's not far from the grocery store, and I can drive to work and come home. I like the place.
Yes, Alex. Both of us will be comfortable here. Don't worry at all. You just concentrate on your work.
In one room of that house, there is a bed. Daisy checks all the house, but she does not see any furniture other than that single bed. She asks broker Max,
Why is this bed kept here? There's no other furniture here. We already have a bed. We do not want this bed.
Madam, when the landlord of this house, Thomas, was relocating, he left this bed here. You can use this bed if you want. Okay, we'll use it, but I would like to buy a new mattress for this bed. Okay, sir. Then you can rent the place next month. Once they rent the place, Alex goes out of town for his work, and Daisy and Lucy work on getting the place cleaned up. After some time, Lucy comes to Daisy.
Mommy, I will sleep on this bed. I like this bed, and it's very beautiful. Okay, Lucy, you can sleep on it.
Lucy was very happy with her new house and her bed, until late at night when she heard a voice calling her.
Lucy.
Lucy wakes and she lights the lamp, but there's no one in the room. Lucy falls asleep again. After some time, the lamp burns itself out. She lights it again, but it burns out again.
Mommy, someone is calling me last night in my room. Don't be silly. You must have dreamed that, Lucy. Mommy, please sleep with me in my room tonight. Well, okay.
Later, Lucy is studying in her room, and she again hears the creepy voice.
Lucy.
Lucy looks around the room and turns her attention towards the bed.
Lucy.
The sound is coming from under my bed.
Lucy looks slowly under the bed, but no one is there. The moment she turns away from the bed, she hears the voice again. She immediately turned back and looked under the bed and saw a frightening, shadowy figure. Then Lucy ran from the bed, screaming. She could not run fast enough. Long arms came from beneath the bed and grabs her. She screams as she is dragged backwards.
Mommy! Mommy! Save me, Mommy!
Then Daisy came into the room.
What happened, Lucy? What happened? Why are you crying? Mommy, there's someone under my bed, Mommy! Under the bed?
When Daisy looks under the bed, no one is there.
No one is here, dear. Mommy, I saw someone, believe me! There's no one here, dear. You just need to calm down.
Lucy is very frightened by this incident, but with her mother there, she calms down, and her mother agrees to sleep in the room with her to prove there is no one under the bed.
Lucy.
When Lucy lights up the lamp and looks under the bed, a terrible soul is looking at her. She screams loudly and then faints. Daisy wakes up and tries to waken Lucy.
Get up, Lucy. Lucy, what happened to you? Wake up, dearie.
Lucy's eyes open, but she's not saying anything at all. She was completely silent and just sits in the room all day long, not even going to eat. Daisy worries about Lucy. Daisy calls Max, the broker, to come over immediately. She met him outside in the garden.
Was there an incident in this house? Look, do not lie. You do not know the condition of my baby girl. There is something wrong with that room.
Meanwhile, Lucy is sitting silently in her room, and again she hears a voice. Lucy stands up. The room door automatically closes. Just then, a soul comes out from under the bed, and the room is filled with its strange darkness. That soul was a ghost. She had a terrible face. She had long hands that lifted her up into the air.
Come, Lucy. This world is not for you. Come with me.
That ghost turns towards the lamp, and it bursts into pieces, the glass falling onto the floor. The ghost looks into Lucy's eyes and takes control of her. Lucy starts walking on those glass pieces. All the while, Daisy is outside, questioning the broker. I don't know about the accident personally, madame, but yes, people do tell ghost stories about this place. The landlord of the house, Thomas, had a 20-year-old daughter named Hazel. She used to stay sick all the time. Her mental condition was not good. People say that she was suicidal. Every day she used to find some way to try to kill herself. She used to tell others to commit suicide along with her. Seeing all this, his family kept her tied to her bed to keep her safe, and they did not tell this to anyone. But one night she killed herself by hitting her head on the bed. And after that, one by one, all of Thomas's family also committed suicide. Only Thomas survived, and he left. But who knows how much of this gossip is true or not?
Oh no! I left my girl in that room!
Daisy runs from the garden back to the house. When Daisy opens the door, she sees that Lucy is walking on the glass, and that she's under the ghost's control. Daisy is terrified.
Lucy, my baby girl! Leave my girl alone!
That evil ghost looks at Daisy and by levitating all the pieces of glass into the air, throws it towards Daisy. Daisy gets badly injured.
Lucy, you come with me. You know what to do.
Lucy comes forward to fly from the window. Injured, Daisy grabs her feet, and the ghost grabs Daisy's hair and throws her.
No, Lucy, don't do it! Wake up!
Lucy jumps out of the window, and she dies. The ghost starts laughing out loud.
Lucy, well done, Lucy. I expected this from you.
Daisy's mental state gets unstable. Max runs upstairs and sees Daisy crying badly, and Lucy is dead. He informs Alex, and Alex comes home and weeps badly.
He killed my daughter. My daughter also committed suicide. I should also die. Everyone should die.
That ghost is watching her. The end.
Sabrina. This story is from 1935. In a small town in Indonesia, Johnny and Maria used to live with a little girl by the name of Kits. Kits was Johnny's niece. Both of them adopted her after the death of her parents.
Dear, why aren't you happy?
Where is my mother and father, Uncle?
Now we are your mother and father.
2 years had passed, but Kits still always remained depressed. Johnny owned a famous toy shop. His dolls were famous throughout all of Indonesia. Johnny created a very famous brand of dolls, and he named them Sabrina. And one day, Johnny brings home a Sabrina doll for Kits.
Maria, this is a gift for Kits. You give it to her.
What's this, Dad?
This is Sabrina doll, dear, which your father has specially made for you. It is also bigger than the rest of the dolls.
Thank you, Aunt.
No, honey. Say thanks to your father. Kits always pretended to be happy, but in her heart, she missed her parents a lot. In a few days, she joins the 8th class, and Johnny and Maria put her in a school outside the city. She also made some good friends at school.
What's your name?
My name is Kits.
My name is Bush, and I'm your class monitor. This is my group, Bishop, Martin, and Lyra.
And soon, Kits starts to focus in school, and now she is a little happier than before. But even today, she misses her mother and father very much. One day at school, Bush is playing a game with all the other children, by which dead souls can be called, and then they can talk to them. They can come from another world to our world.
What are you doing, Bush?
Sit quietly near me, Kits. I'm calling my granny here. I loved her very much, and it has been many days past since I saw her.
So, does this game bring dead people?
Yes, they will come, only if you call them properly, but you have to make sure that you send them back very carefully. If not sent back properly, they can create a lot of destruction in our world.
Bush starts playing the game. Someone turns off the lights in the room, and after a while, a spirit appears. Pictures in the entire room start shaking. Suddenly, Bush's granny appeared there. Bush starts talking to her, and Kits carefully kept a watch on all this. Everybody chants and talks to the evil spirits after Bush's granny leaves, so that she could return to her entity and would not remain on Earth.
Go back, Granny. It was good to meet you today. Now you can return to where you came from.
In this way, I can also meet my mother. Now I know where she went suddenly. Bush, will you please teach me this game? I also want to meet my mother.
Okay, Kits. I will teach you, but promise me that you will do it by yourself. And also, whatever soul you choose to call, you will be sure to say that incantations to send that soul back to their world.
Okay, Bush, I'll take care of that.
And Bush explains to Kits all the rules of the game, and also gives her the pentagram from which the entity would be called. At midnight of the dark moon, Kits closes the door of her room and hangs the pentagram in the room and starts the dark ritual by placing a candle in the middle of the pentagram and started invoking her mother and father.
Please come back, please come back. I call upon evil to call you back.
Then there is a loud knock on the door. Kits opens the door swiftly, keeping everything hidden. Her Aunt Maria brings SABRINA doll to the room, and she gives it to Kits. You had left it outside, hun, so I came to give it to you. Good night.
Whew, I almost got caught. I would have been in so much trouble. Now I'll have to wait till the next dark moon to call my mother.
What are you thinking, hun?
Nothing, Aunt. I'm just feeling drowsy. Thank you for the doll.
Kits falls asleep with the doll. As soon as she falls asleep, SABRINA doll's eyes opened, and she flies in the air, then sits on a nearby chair. This means that Kit's devil worship of Kit was not in vain, and the demon was attempting to enter the doll after coming from another world. Now SABRINA kept changing her place from one world to the other.
Tomorrow night, I'll hang up the pentagram again, and I'll summon my mom. Nothing can stop me from meeting her now.
Kits hangs the pentagram again the next night, and then unexpectedly, the movement begins in SABRINA doll. She slowly starts transforming into a demon, and all of a sudden, her nails begin to grow into claws, and her hair turns a vicious red. Her feet turn backwards, and she's dangling with her feet from above the ground. And then, she suddenly attacks Maria.
I will kill you. I will kill you.
Who are you? How did you come to my home? Go away from here! And then, furiously, the demon attacks Maria and her husband, both of them bleeding badly. The demon doll tries to enter Maria's body, but somehow, both of them escape from the house. What is happening? Who was that? And how did it come to our house?
I don't know, Maria. We'll have to find out. I have a friend named Darla. She is a paranormal expert. We should meet her as soon as possible.
Run before it does more damage! Both Maria and Johnny approach Darla and tell her everything that happened.
She's an old woman who's come to resolve some unfinished business.
What should we do?
We have to go back to your home to find it.
Armed with this new knowledge, all of them return to the house and summon the demon with the help of the Charlie game and pentagram. But the demon was very powerful, and she set the game aflame and turned it to ashes. It suddenly became dark throughout the whole house. All photos crashed, thumped, and trembled against the walls. Then Kits approached them, and she was flying in the air. Hey, what happened to Kits?
Stay away from her. She's possessed. The demon is inside her. Get away.
No! How can I leave my child alone? Then Kits lunges violently forward and attacks them. Sometimes she hangs upside down on the wall, and sometimes starts flying. Her strength was so great that all three grown adults were unable to restrain her. It looked as if blood was dripping from her eyes. And then suddenly, she seized Maria's throat.
I will not let you go.
Then, Darla starts chanting loudly, and she catches Kits from the back. After removing the demon from her, they all exited the house and quickly closed the door.
We closed the door. Now she won't be able to get us.
But who was she, Darla? And why did she start following us?
She was Baiga Demon, daughter of Satan, the strongest evil power. Someone apparently summoned her into the house, and that's how Baiga Demon got in. But who would do such a thing? Who would be so stupid?
On hearing this, Kits starts crying out loud.
I did it, Auntie. I wanted to meet my mother, so I tried to contact her. Oh, what have you done? Your mother also called this same demon. And in the process of trying to send her back, that's how your mother died.
What? Well, what should we do now?
Johnny and Maria, there is only one way to kill her. There's a dagger in the cave of Black Mountain. We got to get it. Only with that knife can we send Baiga back to her world. Otherwise, she'll come back to life.
So, let's not delay. Hurry up before she takes on human form.
Maria and Johnny bring a dagger from the hill mentioned by Darla, and they think that everything will be all right now. But they are gravely mistaken. While coming out of the house, Kits brings Sabrina doll with her. For a while, Doll stays calm. But after some time, the Baiga demon enters inside her, and the doll's eyes begin to open. Who are you? What else do you want from us?
I will kill you too and will take you to my world with me.
And while speaking, she suddenly possesses Maria. Maria's form changes completely. She starts flying in the wind. Johnny, Darla, and Kits get nervous seeing this. Darla starts chanting fast.
In the name of Jesus, demon, go away! In the name of Jesus, demon, go away!
And Darla starts chanting loudly, spraying holy water on the possessed Maria. Baiga is unable to tolerate this, and she immediately attacks Darla. She tries her best to take the diary from Darla's hand, and she sinks her teeth in her neck and starts tearing at her flesh.
Leave her alone! Leave, Darla! What has she ever done to you?
Don't talk! Bring a dagger!
But what if something happens to Maria?
Nothing will happen. I'm reciting the chant. You throw a dagger at her.
There is a lot of fight take place. Then Darla starts reciting the chant loudly, and Johnny comes from behind and attacks Maria with a dagger. The Baiga demon escapes from inside Maria and falls away, wailing in pain. Darla starts spraying holy water on her. Slowly, the Baiga gets vanished with sheer smoke, and Darla immediately sets Sabrina doll on fire, and it burns to ashes.
What are you doing?
We have to burn it so that Bahiga can never come back again. Slowly but steadily, everything returns to normal, and Kits also starts accepting Johnny and Maria as her parents. But one day, Johnny brings again a new doll for Kits, and we can see that her eyes suddenly get opened at night. The end. The Bell Witch. This story begins in the year 1804. John Bell and his family lived in a house on 300 acres of land. It was famous in Adams, Tennessee. They were living happily. But after 10 years had passed, something happened in 1817 that was such a turning point that it changed their life forever. One evening, John Bell came to his daughter Elizabeth's room and saw what she was doing, embroidering.
Elizabeth, are you not asleep yet, my dear daughter?
Yes, Papa. I'm just going to sleep now.
Elizabeth lays down on her bed, and John covers her with a bedsheet, and he is about to extinguish the candle.
No, Papa. Let the candle be, please. I'm afraid of the dark.
You were never afraid of the dark before. What happened, Elizabeth?
I can't really explain it, Papa, but sometimes I feel a strange fear in my heart.
Oh, we'll talk about this tomorrow. You go get some sleep now.
Elizabeth is sleeping with a bedsheet covering her. Suddenly, strong winds start blowing, and lightning streaks. The sound of a creaking door, opening ever so slowly, reached her ears, and it seemed that a shadow was standing at Elizabeth's feet, her long, wild hair flying. Her eyes are just visible, and she slowly pulled down Elizabeth's bedsheet from her face. Elizabeth pulls up the bedsheet again. The dark figure pulls the bedsheet off her. At this, finally Elizabeth opens her eyes, and as she wakes up, the witch starts flying round in the air. Upon seeing this, Elizabeth cries out in fear.
Papa! Papa! Save me, Papa!
John ran and came through the open door.
What happened, Elizabeth? Did you have a nightmare?
Elizabeth had lost her voice. All she could do was just stare upwards and think of that horrible incident that she could not get out of her mind's eye.
Papa, can I sleep in your room, please? I don't want to sleep here.
Okay, dear, but we will not disturb Mummy. I will sleep here with you. Mummy's health is not feeling well.
The next day, Elizabeth's mother, Frida, was drying the clothes outside when Elizabeth arrived.
Dear Eliza, did you have a nightmare yesterday? No, Mother. It was all true. You think I'm lying, but everything really did happen. Okay, dear, you go to your room. I'll prepare lunch and let you know when it's ready.
Elizabeth leaves to go to her room. Frida is coming inside the house after drying clothes. When the witch sees Frida going into the house, she quickly flies towards her, and all the clothes fall to the ground. When Frida looks back, the witch is standing in front of her. The cruel-hearted witch attacks the poor woman and scratches at Frida's arms while kicking her. Frida crumples to the ground in defeat. Elizabeth hurriedly comes to her mother's aid and sees that the witch is holding Frida's throat and raising her in the air. Elizabeth is terrified at this horrible sight.
Mother! Leave my mother! Go away from here, you vile creature! I will not leave anyone alone, not one. I will kill everyone. I will come again, and this time I will kill each and every last one of you.
Then the witch disappeared. The shaken mother and daughter start crying, and John arrives on the scene. He's frightened upon seeing the condition of his family.
We have to do something about this. I can't see my family like this. I will now write a letter to my friend Jackson. He is a paranormal activist, and he will help us. Till then, we will stick together.
At night, John and his family are sitting together, John holding a cross in his hands and guarding Frida and Elizabeth. All of a sudden, a voice reaches his ears.
John, save me, John.
He feels that voice is of Frida. Then, that voice becomes the voice of Elizabeth.
Father, save me, Father.
John sees Elizabeth and Frida sleeping. He realizes that the witch has arrived there. John hears a heavy, world-shattering scream. It was so intense that the cross falls from his hands, clattering to the floor. As a chair comes flying across the cross and falls onto it, John starts looking for the cross. At the same time, he hears the sound of screaming. When he looks back, the evil witch is slapping Elizabeth senseless.
Leave my family be. Let them go.
That's when Jackson enters the scene, and he shows the witch the cross. Upon beholding the cross, the witch hides within a conjured cloud.
Why are you here? Why are you harassing John's family?
The witch angrily looks at John and grabs Frida's hair and drags her away.
Ask me who I am, John. Don't you recognize me, John? Don't you know who I am? I'm Cat Bats, whom you killed 10 years ago. For so many years I've been yearning for revenge. Now my strength has increased, and I will not leave anyone alone. I will destroy this entire family. If he tries to save his family, then John must die. Must die. I will destroy the whole family.
Everyone is surprised by this. John is shocked and suddenly starts crying.
Who was Cat? John, tell us who was Cat. Cat was our neighbor, and out of 300 acres that we owned, 200 acres were her land. At that time, my family didn't move into this home. My eyes were on Cat's land. I went to talk with her one day. She refused to give me the land, and my ego was hurt. So one night I murdered her and took all of her land.
Papa, I had no idea you were such a wicked-hearted, conniving man. I'm ashamed of you.
The witch wants revenge. The only way she'll be appeased is by John's death. Otherwise, she'll continue to haunt and torture this family like this.
Suddenly, all the candles start extinguishing. Once again, the witch, with rage in her eyes, makes her presence known. Going to Elizabeth and Frida, she grabs each of them by their respective throats and lifts them violently into the air.
What do you think, John? Want to see the death of your entire family in front of your eyes?
John is shocked and moves slowly and takes the knife which is on the table and stabs himself. Obviously satisfied, the witch releases the poor mother and daughter and disappears from there. Elizabeth and Frida run to John's side, weeping.
Forgive me, if you can.
The end.
The Werewolf. This story is set in the city of Boston in 1975. 3 friends studied at St. Joseph's College, Ross, Jenny, and Nick, who were very good friends. They were always together. One evening, when the college was closed, they were standing and talking near the college entrance gate. They didn't notice that night had fallen.
Guys, both of you should come to my house on weekends. We can hang out.
I have to do the assignment.
Hey, Jenny, come on. If you're not gonna come, then what's the point?
Okay, guys. Okay, I'm in.
When Jenny, Ross, and Nick look at the road, they see a mysterious person staring at them.
You guys see that weird dude looking at us?
Yeah, I do. Wait here, I'll go teach him a lesson. Nick runs after the man, and the odd stranger quickly runs into the forest. Oh, you think you're fast, do you? I'll get you. Nick runs fiercely after him in the forest. Nick has entered the thick of the forest. After running a long time, when he looks, he finds no one around. Night has swallowed up all the light, except for the rays of the soft moon glow from the full moon hanging above him. He suddenly senses that someone is watching him from a patch of nearby bushes, and his eyes are glowing a fearsome evil red. Nick gets nervous. He starts running fast, and a strange shadow runs after him. Nick runs to the hill near the forest and sees a ditch in front of him. Oh, what do I do? Where do I go? Oh, someone please help me. Nick is scared. He looks at a trench. He feels a creature breathing deeply behind him. Nick looks nervously behind himself. There stands a man with red eyes. Who are you? Nick sees the man's fingernails slowly growing as the moonlight casts its glow over his body. His clothes burst from his chest. His teeth were strangely and rapidly growing, taking the shape of a wolf's fangs. Turns into a werewolf right before Nick's eyes, and Nick is truly horrified. Leave me! Let me go, please! Let me go, let me go, let me go! The now werewolf attacks Nick, causing his neck to bleed badly. Jenny crying hysterically to Ross's house. Jenny?
Ross, Nick's body was found dead near the hill. He was murdered by a werewolf.
What? What are you talking about?
You heard me right. Nick never came home, so the police went to the forest to look for him because I told them that he had run into the forest. I so wish I had stopped him.
The two friends go to Nick's house and find Nick's corpse, which brings them both to tears. Ross gently pulls Jenny away from the awful sight. Did a werewolf really kill him? How could that be?
You don't believe me, do you? Meet me at the town library tomorrow.
Jenny showed Ross a book written about werewolves.
In 1521, they were first seen in Germany. It's a very dangerous species. They take the form of humans on normal days, but on the night of the full moon, their werewolf form emerges from within. And no matter how much they try, their human side is unable to overcome the raging instincts of the wolf within, and they can't stop themselves from killing.
Ross is peering into the strange images of people in the book. He intently studies the pages of the book before him. All at once, Mike comes running in towards them. Where have you guys been? I've been searching for you two everywhere.
What happened, Mike?
5 students died in college. All of them were victims of a werewolf. Ross is horrified when he heard this. Come on, Jenny, we should go.
Ross, we should figure out a way to kill this werewolf. In this book, it says that it can be killed on the full moon's night. And he becomes a werewolf only on nights when there's a full moon. If someone strikes his heart with a silver dagger, he's sure to die. It says so in this book. We can just go pick up a silver dagger at the nearby Walmart.
But then what are we gonna do?
Only when he becomes a werewolf is when he has to kill a human. And that's when we can kill him.
Are you crazy? There's no way I'm gonna be part of any of this. Who would risk their lives on a mission like this?
Okay, Ross, if you don't want to come, don't come. But I want to do this. For Nick.
Jenny, if you don't mind, I'd like to help you. My best friend John was also killed because of that werewolf.
Jenny smiles at Mike. They have something in common. The two of them form a bold alliance and dive headlong into planning their attack until the next night of the full moon. Mike steals the silver necklace from his house and made a dagger from it by giving it to a blacksmith. Night of the moon finally arrives. Mike and Jenny stand their guard near the forest, each of them gripping a silver dagger in their respective hands.
We should enter the forest now.
Jenny and Mike move with caution and torch in hand. They walk to the hilly area and await anxiously there.
It's midnight. How long is this gonna take? I've got a bedtime, Jenny. There's no time left. If we don't kill the werewolf today, who knows how many lives will be lost?
Just then, the werewolf climbs atop Mike and suddenly attacks him. Mike's dagger slips from his hand while the werewolf's deadly teeth are snapping at Mike's neck, and he is relentlessly fighting back. Jenny takes out her dagger and attacks the vicious werewolf. She stabs him in his furry back. The werewolf raises a pain-filled and surprised howl as he looks at Jenny with terrible red eyes and slowly approaches her. Jenny begins walking backwards.
Get out of my city.
The werewolf howls a bloodthirsty roar again. Jenny's foot hits a stone and she falls backwards, scraping and bruising her face. As the werewolf moves towards her, Mike slowly regains consciousness. He had fainted earlier from the attack of the werewolf. Jenny! Mike struggles to get on his feet, to charge the werewolf and climb on top of him, as the terrible creature sinks his teeth over and over again into Mike's chest, and Mike dies from fatal blows. Jenny attacks the werewolf again. She had picked up both daggers now. She struck once on his back and the other in his heart, causing the werewolf to scream in pain, disappearing like a shaggy shadow of thick black smoke hanging in the air before her. A few days later, Ross meets her when Jenny has recovered and returned to college. Forgive me, Jenny. I did not help you when you really needed me. You are a very brave girl.
Ross, you must not forget Mike. I am alive today because of him, and because of him, we're all alive and well.
The Vampire. This is a story from 1965. A man named Thomas lives in Mexico with his wife Bella. They loved going on long road trips together, but this night they didn't know that they were being watched by a dark man with red eyes in the moonlit night. Thomas was singing a little song, and Bella was annoyed by it. Thomas turned the car onto a dirt road through the woods.
The forest is so dense here, Thomas, and so dark. How many times do I have to ask that you not go this way?
Listen, dear, this is a shortcut. From here, we will get home more quickly.
Please do not run with such a shortcut, Thomas. How many times I have explained it to you, but you do not listen at all.
Okay, honey, next time, we'll go by the road only, no matter how long it'll take.
It's okay, just let's get home quickly. These woods give me the willies.
Thomas was driving when he saw a man standing in front of him. That man is gesturing to stop the car.
Hey, why is this guy standing like this? I will stop and look.
Why should we stop? It's not safe in the middle of the night.
Who knows? Maybe he needs our help?
Are you sure, Tom? It's so late. We should go straight home.
Hey, don't worry, Bella. I'm with you. Nothing will happen. Relax. Let's just see what he has to say.
Thomas stops the car and lowers the window. A very handsome young man stands in front.
Hey, what's the matter? What are you doing here on such a night?
My name is Noah. I have come from a nearby village, but I've lost my way, and I've no idea where to go. The address is written, but I lost it too. Any chance you could give me a ride to a hotel? Thomas looks towards Bella. Bella shakes her head without making any expressions.
Okay, come on, sit inside.
Thank you very much. If you good folk hadn't come along, nobody else would have.
No problem. Come on, sit in the car.
Thomas is driving and also watching at Noah from the front mirror. Noah is looking out of the window. His body is shining in the moonlight.
My name is Thomas, and this is my wife, Bella.
Noah smiles and Bella looks at Thomas angrily. Thomas starts talking again.
So, Noah, how did you come to the city?
There is a famous paranormal activist, Mr. Handman. I've come to help him.
I'm going to assist him. Big trouble has just arrived in this city.
No way, Mr. Peter Handman? He's a very good friend of mine. Great guy.
That's a very good thing.
Are you coming to see him this week?
Then I'll see you there.
You know what? You should just come stay at our house. Then tomorrow, I'll drop you off at Peter's house.
You guys are so kind. Thank you. Bella has finally softened and begins talking to Noah.
Noah, what big trouble were you talking about?
Mr. Handman wrote me a letter that a vampire is awakened in this city. He is drinking the blood of people. We just have to control it. Peter asked me to come and assist him.
What are you talking about? A vampire? Are there real vampires?
Yes, they are real, Bella, ma'am.
Well, tell us a little bit more about these vampires.
I've read a lot about these vampires. These vampires are old species. They can live on animal blood for centuries and transform anyone's form. And when they are old enough to die, they seek out the blood of humans, which makes them live for years to come. They can read minds, and they're a very dangerous species. Thomas stops the car.
Well, we're home. Now let's stop these scary stories. Bella, could you serve hot coffee for everyone?
Yes, of course. First, let's go inside the house.
Noah looked towards the house and began to smell the house. His eyes were closed. Thomas saw him doing this and placed a hand on his shoulder and looked towards him. Noah's eyes opened.
Don't be shy, Noah. Think of it as your own home. Let's go inside.
Yes, Thomas. Bella, Noah, and Thomas sitting in the living room drinking coffee. Thomas sees that Noah is not drinking coffee.
Noah, why aren't you drinking coffee?
I don't like coffee.
Oh, so tell me what you like.
Noah answered again, rudely. I told you I don't like anything. Thomas and Bella stare at each other. Just then, a huge bat flies into their house and starts to roam all around.
Whoa! Where did that come from? Thomas, do something!
The bat's eyes turn red, and he comes in front of Thomas and strikes his face.
Hey, are you alright?
Thomas's face and hands get marks, and his body begins to bleed. Noah feels strange to see that blood.
Noah, I have to put the first aid box in the drawer. Get it fast.
Bella looks towards Noah, and there is no one there.
Noah, where are you?
Right behind you. When Bella looks back, Noah was standing there and his eyes turn red. His clothes turn black. His teeth become sharp. Bella is petrified. I am so thirsty. Today I will drink the blood of you two, and my age will increase for 10 years. Thomas is angry and is about to push Noah. But Noah flies into the air. Small bats come into their home, and they start to swarm around Noah.
Bella, get out of here!
No, I will not leave you. You are injured.
Noah follows Bella and captures her. All the bats grab Thomas with both of his arms and lift him from the ground so that he cannot do anything.
No, let me go. Noah, please, leave us alone. We helped you when you needed it. Please leave us.
Noah attacks Bella with his sharp teeth on her neck and begins to drink her blood. Bella falls unconscious and dies.
Bella! Bella!
Your wife is gone. Now it's your turn.
Noah flies and strikes Thomas's throat, and Thomas is tortured to death. Noah comes out of the house with bats flying through the window. Bella and Thomas awake from death, and their eyes glow red and their teeth sharpen. They, too, have become vampires. They look at each other with a wicked smile, and they go out of the house and disguise themselves and go out on their own prey. The Jinn. This story is from 1926. Both my parents had died in an accident, and I used to live in Baghdad with my grandmother SABRINA. I wanted to know how my parents died, but my grandmother would always give me an excuse, even when I entered 8th grade when I was 15.
Granny, now I have to go to another village to study. Bless me.
Yes, son. Study hard and make progress. Which way will you go to school?
Granny, I will go by the trail which is near the pond outside the village.
Trail? The walkway along with that pond? No, don't go near that pond.
But why, Granny?
I don't have to answer that. If I say no, then the answer is no. Do not go near that pond.
That day, my grandmother refused to let me go near that pond, but I just had it stuck in my mind. Then I decided I would go to school that way. Eventually, I made 2 good friends, Afreen and Hamza. All 3 of us used to go to school on that path beside that pond.
You know what, Omar? My mother says that a genie lived near this pond. Many years ago, he ate many people. Later, he was seized in a small pot and thrown in this lake.
No way, Afreen.
Maybe that's why Grandma always forbids me to come here, but I still think this is a very quiet place. My friends and I continued to talk as we walked, until Afreen noticed 2 black eyes staring at us from the pond water. Afreen saw it first, staring back at her. She turned away, afraid.
Who's there? Who is that?
No one is there, Afreen. You must have just seen your own reflection in the water. Just then, ahead on the path, we saw a woman crying. She was sitting there in torn clothes with a bucket, crying out loud. Hey, why is she crying?
Omar, don't go near her. We don't know who she is. I'm already freaked out, and it's getting dark. Let's get out of here and go home.
How can you talk like that? Afreen, you're such a scaredy cat. We're both with you. Then, all 3 of us approached the crying woman. Why are you crying?
I won't be able to catch a single fish today. The little bunny which I had also fallen in that pond. Now, what shall I tell my boss? My children will die of hunger, so I will die here first by jumping in this pond.
No, please don't do this. Tell me, where have you lost your money? I'll get it out of the pond, and we'll help you with some fishing.
What are you talking about, Omar? The darkness is rising. And remember, Granny told you not to go inside the pond. This doesn't feel right. Let's get out of here.
Stand here and shut up. Nothing will happen. I will not go home without helping this lady.
But we didn't know the 2 eyes were watching us. Just out of view, there was a slight movement in the pond water. A strange shadow that slowly rose up to the surface. At first, it appeared like a snake, then suddenly turned into a lizard. It changed its form over and over. Afreen looked back and saw nothing again.
I'm not feeling right about anything here, Omar and Hamza. Let's go from here.
Keep standing silently. I'm gonna go to the pond. I took off my shirt and my shoes and dove into the water. But the water moved like waves, and like I was just handed a small pot right into my hand. Hey, what is this? A pot? It looks kind of nice. I'll take it home. I found the woman's coins in the same spot underwater and gave them back to the old woman and got her fishing again. I showed my friends the pot, but as soon as the woman saw it, her eyes turned red and she started laughing out loud. Strong winds started moving all around, and there was a sudden stir in the water of the pond. Look!
You found the pot. After 200 years, and find this pot today. I knew you would do this job. Now, give me this pot.
200 years later? What are you talking about? Anyway, this pot is mine. I've taken it out of the pond. I will not return it.
I told you something was wrong here, didn't I? Now let's run away from here.
The three of us began to run away. Then that old woman suddenly took the form of a dog, and she started running after us. Her eyes were so scary. Then suddenly, wings started to grow on her, and she turned into an enormous hawk and snatched the pot right out of my hands while we were running.
Enough with your running. Now the pot is mine today. After 200 years, I will finally meet the genie once again. I just had to be really, really patient.
After saying all of that, she turned back into a woman and opened the lid of the pot. As soon as the pot was opened, strong smoke spewed out of it and surrounded us. A very big blue man appeared, whose upper body was partially visible and the lower body was like a snake's smoky tail.
Wow. Today I got my freedom after 200 years. Now I will rule the earth.
He noticed the woman and flew towards her, entering her mind and taking her over. Fire came out of her mouth. Her teeth grew sharp, and she started laughing out loud. Her legs turned into a snake's tail. We were terrified, and we all started running back along the path. But the genie ran faster than us and caught my leg and threw acid on my face and mouth. No! Leave me alone! Then Jinn entered my body. Things like snakes' tongues came out of my mouth like tentacles. My eyes turned red and it started raining. My pals, Afreen and Hamza, very quickly ran away from there. I reached my grandmother's house and told her everything.
Why has this happened? Oh, why did he go there against my wishes? My children! That was a genie. That genie ate Omar's parents. That's why I told you that you couldn't go there.
What is a genie, Granny?
A genie can take any form. There are good ones, but most are bad. They can enter into any animal or human being and become like them. They have 3 different types that come in different colors. They can run at speeds of 15 to 18 miles per hour and carry a weight ranging from 20 pounds to 200 pounds. Sometimes they can take shape of a creature with wings, and other times, like dogs and snakes, can see genies and are always their friends. So that means our Omar will never recover now? There's a guy there named Hatim that might have a solution. You two run off home, children.
So that's what my grandma did. She went and found a man named Hatim Baba. Hatim's room has magical potions all around. He had magical animals stuffed on his wall, and swirling smoky powers were in the room. Come!
Genie has taken my boy.
Oh, don't say another word to me. I know everything. Why did those children go to the pond? Now that pot has been opened after 200 years, now everywhere will be doom. I will get Omar here, but remember, today that genie will take the sacrifice of somebody's life. Hatim started chanting aloud and put more wood on the fire. In a short time, Omar, that was me, who has now become the genie, came there. At this point, I was very large, with wings and eyes completely red. As soon as I came into Hatim's room, the whole room was filled with a red light. "Why have you come out of your pot? What has this child done to you? Leave him alone." "Ah, it's cramped in there. I will stay here until I find another home. And will destroy this whole world." Hatim kept on chanting aloud. In a short time, a big fight started between his powers and the powers of the genie. The genie came out of me. In order to fight Hatim, he looked like a snake. "Why you remove me from Omar's body? Now I will enter into this old lady." And before Hatim could do anything, the genie used his evil powers to enter into my granny's body. Nanny fell down in anguish. I was sad. Hatim started to capture the genie into a teapot. "Leave this old lady, or I will have to imprison you in this pot." "No! What are you doing? Do not tie me to that pot. I will leave this old lady. I will do whatever you say. You become my master from now on." But Hatim continued to recite the chant continuously, and the genie slowly came out of Granny's body and was sucked into the pot like smoke. Then my grandmother died. "Your grandmother is dead, Omar. There is no use crying now. You should have obeyed her. Now you too, go away from here." I've never forgotten that genie. And I realized that because of my mistake, my grandmother left this world. The world of the jinn is very dangerous.